There's so many moments, because every time that you are before the Eucharist, you're before Jesus. So every moment is a moment of grace, a moment that can change you completely and transform you. But if I had to choose one, I think I will choose one that impacted me when I was very young. And it was in the middle of the revolution in my country. And I know from one day to another we began the war. And sometimes we don't think that wars can happen in 24 hours, you know. And I remember being the leader of the youth groups and the charismatic youth of the diocese. We always have, every Friday, we had a Eucharistic adoration and then time of praise and worship. And we had outside, in the one side of the church, we have the National Guard, and in the other side, we have the communists. And we were in the middle. And they both did not want us to be in the church adoring Jesus or praying. And so they came to talk to me, and they said, you have to close the church, you have to let everybody know, and you have to stop what you're doing. And I said, I'm sorry, Jesus is here, you can go, you can stay, you can allow him to touch you, or you can do whatever you need to do. I knew what he meant and the risk that we were taking. But it was amazing to me when I said, you know, what they were saying, and everybody was free to go if they needed to go, or they felt afraid to go. And all the young people stayed. And they said, we will not leave Jesus alone. Nothing will make us afraid. And at that moment, they were throwing bombs inside of the church, you know, like the crying bombs and things like that. And so I told the young people, just throw it back, you know, play football with the bombs, but we're staying with Jesus. And at that moment, just to see that Jesus gives that kind of strength and fortitude, you know. I have experiences about all possibilities, but being in the middle of a war between the two enemies, and we're in the middle in the church, adoring Jesus, praising Jesus, worshiping Jesus, and now nobody wanted to go away. They wanted to be with him. Even if we had to die, we wanted to die with him. And that impacted my heart so much. First of all, because I saw the power of the Eucharist in so many ways during that time and during my whole life. I've been dedicating my whole life to doing every Friday Eucharistic Cenacles. But seeing the kind of strength for martyrdom that can come from the Eucharist. And martyrdom, not only shedding your blood, but the capacity to sacrifice out of commitment and fidelity to Jesus. So I will say that's one that really marked my life, and because I had that grace of strength, but to see how this multitude of young people received it at that moment from the Blessed Sacrament. And I think that when we're afraid of so many things that we face in life, we should run to Jesus in the Eucharist, and he will tell us what he said to the apostles in the cenacle. Do not be afraid, I'm here. In the world you will have tribulations, but I have conquered the world.